check out ESPN Film's newly released 30 for 30 podcasts. From the producers of our award-winning documentary series, this is an amazing collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. Speaking of amazing, Delta Airlines and the Fly Delta app make your travel experience amazingly easy with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And don't forget to download 30 for 30 podcasts to fill your flight with stories that will keep you coming back for more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Cut the damn music. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airways of ESPN Radio at 710 ESPN LA. It's 98.7 FM in New York City. That's nationwide over the airways of ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80. Number to call up is 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Got a lot of stuff to get to you about today. Sammy Watkins was traded from Buffalo. Jordan Matthews was traded from the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll get into all of that and then some. Got my man Marlon Wayans, actor, comedian, director extraordinaire. He'll be on the show with us in hour number 2. Got a lot of stuff to get to today. But I don't even know what to say. News just comes down that Ezekiel Elliott, star running back entering his second season with the Dallas Cowboys, has been suspended for 6 games. More than a quarter of the 2017 NFL season, Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended for 6 games by Commissioner Roger Goodell and the National Football League. Reading directly from what is online on ESPN, Adam Schefter obviously reported it. The NFL Network reported it. Every damn body knows about this right now. Before I get into anything, let me just read this stuff to you. Dallas Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott has been suspended 6 games by the NFL for violating the personal conduct policy the league announced Friday. The suspension comes as a result of an investigation that started more than a year ago after an ex-girlfriend accused Elliott of domestic violence in Columbus, Ohio. The Columbus City Attorney's Office announced in September that it would not pursue charges against Elliott because of, quote, conflicting and inconsistent information. But the NFL can penalize a player without legal charges. Let me say this. Ezekiel Elliott, if you're somewhere listening right now and you're guilty of domestic violence, damn it, you got off easy. It should have been more than 6 games. If you're innocent, totally, and these are fabrications and lies, you got screwed. If you're the National Football League, I need an explanation as to why it took this damn long to come to the conclusion. That's what I'd like to know. But you know who the biggest culprit in all of this, ladies and gentlemen? The biggest culprit in all of this? It's the NFL Players Association. You see, ladies and gentlemen, what we have to understand, what may rake folks' nerves, what may annoy us to no end, is the fact that Commissioner Roger Goodell has total discretion under the guise of the best interest of the game. It's not only a part of the NFL's constitution, it's also a part of the CBA agreement. Because you had best believe that the NFL Players Association, in the midst of signing a 10-year deal, unprecedented, 10 years. My hairline was about 3 feet forward 10 years ago. You know how many things change in 10 years? But somehow, some way, the Players Association signs a 10-year deal. 10 years. And part of it, without question, was a CBA agreement that essentially agreed to comply with some part of the NFL's constitution. And you know the NFL Constitution empowers the commissioner. So it's not just a part of his personal contract. It's a part of the NFL Constitution. It's a part of the CBA. Which means that any complaint that the NFL Players Association tries to come up with in defense of their own player is relatively baseless. Which means if you're Ezekiel Elliott, and indeed you do have a case to defend yourself, it doesn't matter. Because according to the NFL, after retaining an independent counsel to investigate the matter, essentially, you have reached the conclusion that this man and his behavior was not in the best interest of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong. Since this alleged incident took place, I believe the dates were July 17th to July 20th, where the ex-girlfriend for Ezekiel Elliott said on 5 different occasions he abused her in some fashion. I'm looking for the story as we speak to make sure that I have all of the particulars right, but I'm pretty sure those were the dates. Ezekiel Elliott hadn't played a game in the National Football League yet. He was drafted by that time, but he hadn't played a game in the NFL as of yet. It says here, before disciplining Elliott, the NFL considered the domestic violence allegations from February 2016 and July 2016, as well as the St. Patrick's Day incident this March, in which he pulled down a woman's shirt, though he did not factor into the league's decision on discipline. Fair enough. When Ezekiel Elliott pulled that girl's shirt, he looked like a damn idiot. Knowing that you're being investigated, you still playing around in public on a boat during some kind of parade or party or whatever the hell it was. It was irresponsible. Nobody's sitting up here feeling sorry for Ezekiel Elliott in that fashion. My issue is that the man claims he's innocent. The law dropped the case. And the NFL itself kept it open for a year before handing down this, I believe, relatively severe penalty. I personally think that Ezekiel Elliott should have been suspended at least 2 games from the time this kind of stuff happened. Just because you got your name in the media for this nonsense, you deserve to be punished. But to dangle this along all of this time, and then to hand down this game, to hand down this penalty, this is not about conduct detrimental to the league in terms of finding yourself in a situation. You're convicting him in a court of public opinion. You got to remember back in 2010 when Big Ben Roethlisberger went through his troubles and ultimately was suspended for 6 games before having it reduced to 4. There was a concerted effort on the part of the National Football League to say, we don't know, but damn it, his conduct was detrimental to the league because even finding himself in that situation is good enough for us. So you may have some people who believe Big Ben while others who don't. And then you're willing to drop it because you're saying that the NFL handled it with due diligence. It didn't take a year. It wasn't dangling out there all that time. So you can sit up there and say, look, can't find yourself in these situations, we have to make an example out of you. Whether you're guilty or not is irrelevant. That's not what the NFL is doing here. What's happening here is a strong attachment to guilt in a public opinion, in a court of public opinion, because the courts couldn't do it themselves. That's a different ball game here. And before everybody loses their mind, let's be clear. Any man guilty of being the punk that he is and found to, guilty in any way of domestic violence needs to be severely dealt with. In most cases, ladies and gentlemen, women are the victims. You're a man and you call up here and you try to negate and downplay that fact, I'm hanging up on you. It's just the truth. flip side, however, is there are a few cases where guilt doesn't apply. And what I'm saying is the suspension is not the problem. The amount is the problem, and the time it took to hand it down is the problem, because essentially what you're saying is we don't give a damn what the district attorney did or what the police refused to do in not arresting you, Ezekiel Elliott. We're telling the world you're guilty. Even if you say you're innocent. Now what? Where can he possibly go from here? The NFL, with the timing of all of this and how long it took, combined with the length of the suspension, basically said, we think you're guilty. And we want the world to think so as well. This ain't about conduct detrimental to the league. That could fall under any stigma. Oh, you can't be stupid. Can't find yourself in these situations where you can be accused. That's basically what they did with Big Ben Roethlisberger. This is different. You're basically saying he's guilty. How does that sit with y'all? I'm not sure it sits that well with me. However, Ezekiel Elliott, if you are guilty of such a thing, you got off easy. But we don't know. Now what? 866-729-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 866-729-3776. Your calls and more up next. Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Okay, keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
I want to show you my first ever painting.
All right.
Okay. Open your eyes.
Oh, that's a lot of colors and shades.
So be honest. What do you think?
Well, I like how if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Here, why don't I hold your paintbrush while you call them?
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Essentially, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, Ezekiel Elliott is out until November. Dallas Cowboys might not make the playoffs. With the Giants looking the way that they're looking, having Brandon Marshall, assuming Sterling Shepard's healthy, having Odell Beckham Jr., not much of a running game or an offensive line, but the defense is stout. Eli Manning is still there on offense with the weapons that I mentioned. Based on this, Giants should win this division. Don't know about the Redskins or Eagles right now, but if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you open the season against the Giants, right? I'm sorry, I apologize. Let me look at the schedule. That was from last year. I apologize. I'm looking at 2016. I was looking for 2017. I'm looking for the schedule here. Here it is. They open the season against the Giants on September 10th. Then they're on the road at Denver. Then Arizona on Monday night. Then they're back home with the Rams and Green Bay. Okay? Then they have a bye week. Okay? For week 6? And then the 7th, they play at San Francisco. Okay? So he comes back, October 29th versus the Washington Redskins on the road. That's Ezekiel Elliott's first game. October 29th at Washington. Giants, Broncos, Cardinals, Rams, Green Bay. Well, Dallas could win that in San Francisco. Dallas could win about 3 of those games. They might be 3-3 after week 6. Might be 3-3. They'll lose to Green Bay. No doubt about that. Nobody's given Ezekiel Elliott a pass there. He's been a flaming idiot. Pulling a girl's shirt. Going to Seattle and, venturing into some weed spot. All of this while knowing you were being investigated. Reading here from the letter that the NFL sent to Ezekiel Elliott. It said here during the early morning hours of July 17, 2016, There was an altercation at the Canvasback Lane apartment in Columbus, Ohio, in which you used physical force that caused injuries. We're not going to say the victim's name, the alleged victim. But apparently, according to the reports by the NFL, caused injuries to her arms, neck, and shoulders. These injuries are portrayed in several photographs, parentheses 3 series, confirmed by forensic analysis to have been taken by the alleged victim the following day and subsequently sent to her aunt with a text message stating, abusive. Several of these injuries are also portrayed in photographs taken by the Columbus Police Department on July 22nd, 5 days later. Parentheses 7 series. Some of these injuries are also depicted in photographs provided by the alleged victim's family to the Columbus City Attorney's Office. Collectively, a review of these photographs by both medical experts determined that the injuries to her arms, neck, and shoulders appear recent and consistent with her description of the incident and how they occurred. On the morning of July 19th, 2016, there was an altercation at the Canvasback Lane apartment in which you used physical force that caused injuries to her face, arms, wrists, and hands. So now this is a separate incident. One was July 17th. This is 2 days later. These injuries are portrayed in photographs confirmed by forensic analysis to have been taken by her on the afternoon of July 21st, 2016, and concurrently sent via text message to her mother. These injuries are also portrayed in the photographs taken by the Columbus Police Department on July 22nd. A review of these photographs by both medical experts determined that the injuries displayed appear recent and consistent with her description of the incident and how they occurred. 2 days later, during the early mornings of July 21st, altercation at this Canvasback Lane apartment in which you used physical force that caused injuries to her face, neck, arms, knees, and hips. Someone stated in an interview that she observed these injuries to the alleged victim later that same day. These injuries are portrayed in a photograph taken by the alleged victim the afternoon of July 21st, 2016, and in photographs provided by her family to the Columbus City Attorney's Office, or taken by that office on the same date. Let me stop this right now. We got an incident on July 21st. We got an incident 2 days earlier, July 19th. We got an incident on July 17th. I take it back. I said that the NFLPA and that collective bargaining agreement that they agreed to, empowering Roger Goodell, was a culprit. Let me tell you another culprit, the police department. Why hasn't this man been arrested? 1, 2, 3 separate days. I mean, according to this man, every other day he was at her. Why was he playing football last year? This is according to the police. See, this is getting really, really tricky for me. Because on one hand, all I'm seeing, because remember, when I went through the first segment of this show, there was no NFL letter that was in front of me like it is now. So what I'm saying to y'all is this. I'm looking for the last year. I'm hearing his denials. I'm hearing that he was never arrested. I'm hearing that the prosecutor dropped the case. And I'm like, what's the problem? The NFL leaves the case open. I believe dropped it, then reopened it and kept it dangling out there. And I'm like, why? And now I'm seeing this, and I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. July 17th, 19th, and 21st, something happened and no arrest? None? Whatsoever? And the prosecutor drops the case? And if you're the National Football League, you don't get off scot-free with this. This is supposedly in the police report. See, to me, what I just read to you all is enough to warrant a suspension. Oh, 3 separate incidents? The police said this was consistent? Forensic analysis confirms it? What the hell is the problem? Why did it take this long? What are we missing? I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. But based on this letter from the NFL, This 6-game suspension seems justified. Why it takes so long? Why wasn't he suspended his rookie year? I don't get it. I really, really don't. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. Your phone call's up next. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Let's be clear about something before we move on with this show. This could end up being good for Ezekiel Elliott and definitely good for the NFL because this brother definitely needed to be slowed down. You know you're being investigated, but you're tugging on some girl's shirt during while on a boat with some kind of parade going on and exposing her cleavage. Witnesses said that you punched somebody and broke their nose in a bar or something in Dallas, even though that was never confirmed and it was ultimately investigated and dropped. Speeding down 100 miles an hour, even though, shoot, who am I? That's hypocritical because I speed. Not that much, but not to that speed, but still. It's a situation where Ezekiel Elliott, young, has been very dumb in some of his decisions. Having said all of that, from a Vegas standpoint, they consider him worth about a half point in these games. In other words, they don't think he's going to have much of his loss has much of an impact. Why? Because you still have Darren McFadden, who rushed for like 1,089 yards a couple of years ago. You signed Alfred Morris from the Redskins the following season. They're both still there. McFadden turns 30 this month. He's missed 42 games in 9 seasons, including 13 last year after elbow surgery. He's played in a full 16-game season only twice in his career, 2014 and 2015. That's it. Got to remember that Alfred Morris was on a trading block this offseason. Those are your running backs, plus you signed Ronnie Hillman. We'll see what happens. Going from here. Freddie in Long Beach, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Talk to me.
Yeah, it's Frankie anyway, Stephen A. Come on, man. That's Freddie. It's Frankie, man.
Well, it said
anyway.
Freddie. I'm on the board, man. I don't know who's on the air. I just read the board. Go ahead, man.
Frankie. All right, now,
Frankie.
Anyway, say hello to you anyway. Yo, Stephen A., the Ezekiel Elliott, man, I think he got the O.J. Simpson treatment, man. Beat the criminal case, and here comes civil. Then attacked him on the show. Took the black man money.
I'm not going to say the O.J. Simpson case because we saw that trial on TV and we know he deserved to be under the damn jail. O.J. should still be in jail for life for that.
You know he shouldn't. He got found innocent, man.
Yeah,
I don't care how somebody feel personal about it, but the court and our judicial system said he was innocent. So I'm living with that. Now they take his money civil, okay. Even the criminal court with Ezekiel Elliott. You just read down this whole rap sheet within 2 years. He should have been locked up, but he wasn't. But here it is now, in the eyes of the public and you, he's guilty of something that the court system said he's not guilty of. And the NFL, again, taking the black man money. Help me out here, Steven. And plus, the Knicks still don't
you're confusing me because you sound like you have no, like you said, you think he should be in jail or whatever. You sound like you don't have, 1 minute you sound like you don't have a problem with the NFL's decision. The next second you sound like you have a big problem with it. Which one is it, Frankie?
When you read this rap sheet out, I agree with you on that part that he should have been in jail, but he wasn't. They never arrested him or nothing. No,
so are you saying that it's wrong for the NFL to hand down the suspension?
For that's why I say he had the O.J. treatment.
Okay.
The criminal system said that he was innocent.
Got it. Appreciate the call, Frankie. Thank you so much. Let's go to D. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, D? D, go ahead, man. You're live on the air. Let's go to Mike in Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Steve, what's going on? Good to hear you. I really don't care if he's guilty or not guilty. You know, I think the NFL should stay and mind their own business. But either way, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be that bad. I mean, the offensive line is a bunch of beasts. When Tyron Smith and Zach Martin get hurt, then come back. Until then, Zeke is just a piece of the puzzle.
What do you mean you don't care whether he's guilty or not?
that means that from an NFL perspective, it doesn't really matter whether he's guilty or not. I don't know who they are to police the world. Let them mind football and let the police mind the police department.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you believe that the NFL shouldn't care about who represents their shield, their brand, and just should let any and all people in? If you're not in jail, just because you're not in jail, that means that gives you the right to play in the NFL if they don't like the way that you behave?
100%, yes. That's what I believe.
I got you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. There are people out there like Mike in Jersey who feel that way. I ain't one of them. I mean, you got to have some kind of discipline. You got to know how to behave yourself. When you represent a brand, you have to conduct yourself appropriately. I believe that. Some people don't, though. So Mike's in New Jersey. His position is not far off. There's a lot of people that feel the way that he feels, in all fairness to him. Let's go to Mike in Denver. You're live with Stephen A. What's going on, big baby? How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. Talk to me.
Hey, man, this Elliott thing, man, it done went over the top. You better believe, man, that he's very popular in Ohio because you get them 3 charges back to back like that and nothing happened. It's something going on with the prosecutor and, Zeke's people, but that's neither here nor there.
It's not 3 charges, but it was 3 times. I mean, it was back on like July 17th, then the 19th, then the 21st. 3 separate incidences where basically the same thing happened to the alleged victim. No arrest, and the prosecutor saying that we can't file any charges because of inconsistent and insufficient evidence. I'm like, how? It seemed pretty damn consistent to me.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he got charged. He just didn't. He just beat the charges. You know what I'm saying? You go there 3 times with the same case, with the same person involved. It's something going on with the prosecuting and Zeke's team. Zeke just that powerful, man. And just like with the incidents down in Dallas. So the NFL ain't did nothing but let him just hang himself. Let it lay on like that. And now, he got suspended like this. So, man, it's something going on with the prosecutor. With that, because ain't no normal.
Well, let me ask you this question real quick, Mike. Do you agree that Ezekiel Elliott should get the 6 games, or do you think the suspension should be reduced?
He gonna get it reduced, but I mean, they got to give him the 6 games because they in so much trouble, Stephen A. with this domestic violence stuff. They doing their best not to fumble the ball no more. So
well, they don't need to fumble. I agree with them. They don't need to fumble the ball. My problem is you left it there. See, with Big Ben Roethlisberger, what you said was we're gonna suspend you for conduct detriment of the league. We don't know what happened. We don't care. You are a big name. You matter to this league. You can't sully our shield by being involved in some nonsense like this. That's entirely different to me than what they did to Ezekiel Elliott, Mike. The impression that I'm getting from them is that we want the world to know Ezekiel Elliott, we think he's guilty of this.
Exactly.
It's not about conduct detriment. It's not about appearances and, putting a bad face on the league. That's what I got from Big Ben's suspension. What I'm getting from this suspension is we don't care what the Lord did. We think you guilty. That's what I'm getting from this.
And that's like the one caller was saying, the NFL just taking matters into their own hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's where I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong about that because if the court of law can't sit up there and not even arrest you, let alone convict you, you don't have a right to step forward and be like, you're basically guilty with it. All they had to do was suspend a month ago and said, look, you found yourself in this damn situation. We're disgusted with your behavior. You sullied our name. That's why we're suspending you. And I would have been good with it, Mike. Right. But they seem to be saying, we think you're guilty, and we want the world to know you're guilty.
And trying to seem like they was trying to wait to see if anything else happened with them so they could really prove what they was trying to do, which is wrong. And you right on the money with that. But, man, look, I got to get ready to run. Nice talking to you. Hey, you was fly again this morning, man. Love that brown you had on this morning, man.
No doubt. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much. 866-729-ESPN. More of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio in a minute.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Listen up, America. I know a lot of you have already gotten a Zipper and are getting happy Z's as a result. You're welcome. As for the rest of you, what's the holdup? There are too many of you snoring and being a nuisance to everybody around you. I need you to stop procrastinating and deal with this now and get a Zipper. How do I know you need this? Because I'm one of those individuals, one of those millions who was snoring. Because I used to be one of you. I always keep it real with you, and I'm not going to change now. Zipper gets reports every time I talk about their product on my radio show. They know you went to their website, Zipper.com. They know you clicked through all the 5-star testimonials and watched the video proving it works. They also know that you actually went through the process of putting a Zipper in your shopping cart. Now finish the process and get a Zipper already, please. Listen up. Your snoring is not going to stop until you get a Zeeper. I don't care what it costs. Sleep is priceless. You would know this if you got a Zeeper and read the message inside the box. So I'm telling you to get a Zeeper. Stop procrastinating. Go to Zeeper.com, please. That's ZYPPAH.com. Remember, Zeeper is Happy Z, spelled backwards. A couple of things I want to read to you all right here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. If the suspension stays at 6 games, Ezekiel Elliott will lose about $560,000 in base salary and potentially much more. To be specific, if the suspension is upheld, the guarantees on Elliott's contract will be voided and he will have to pay back some of his already earned signing bonus money. For each game missed, Elliott would also have to repay about $240,000 in signing bonus money he has received, or roughly $1.4 million. That's where we're at with this. A couple other important details to point out. Peter Harvey was part of the 4-member external expert advisory panel the NFL utilized in making its decision. The NFL used only the incidents with the former girlfriend from July 16th to July 21st in Columbus, Ohio, and from the St. Patrick's Day parade in Dallas in March. NFL Vice President of Communications Joe Lockhart said the league told Elliott, quote, he used poor judgment and questionable behavior, end quote, in pulling down a woman's top, but it did not rise to the level of adding to the penalty. Investigators said the evidence they collected led them to believe Elliott engaged in physical force that caused injury, according to Peter Harvey, a former attorney general for New Jersey. The league was able to collect data from this former girlfriend's phone that came the same day as the incident she reported. Harvey said Elliott's representatives presented, quote, alternative theories, end quote, and how the woman may have suffered the injuries from a fight with another woman, falling down the stairs, or at her job as a server. But they did not offer evidence of the injuries occurring under those circumstances. Falling down the stairs or at her job as a server? Really? And by the way, if the pulling down of the woman's top did not rise to the level of adding to the penalty, why bring it up as a part of the penalty process? Why bring it up as a part of the decision-making process in regards to the penalty if you're then going to say it had no effect on the penalty? I'm just asking. It's still stupid and irresponsible of him to do. Back to the phones. Skip, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Stephen?
Talk to me, man. Go ahead, buddy.
But look here, I despise the Dallas Cowboys, but I do want to say this. I think the NFL has overreached this bound. I don't know how you supersede the judicial system. That just doesn't make sense to me. And, yes, this young man needs to check himself. But I still think the NFL has overstepped its bounds.
Well, you know what, but Skip, do you agree with me when I say the big problem I have? See, I draw a distinction between what happened with Big Ben Roethlisberger back in 2010 when he got suspended 6 games and then it was reduced to 4 because he was accused of sexual assault. I draw a distinction between that and this in this regard. I think the NFL back then was saying, we don't know what happened, but you know what? We're disgusted that you find yourself in this situation and you're not going to sully the name of the league. So that is why we're getting on you. To me, that's entirely different than what they're doing here with Ezekiel Elliott, because what they're saying to Ezekiel Elliott is, we think you're guilty and we want the world to think you're guilty of what you have been accused of. That to me is what they're saying.
And why take 13 months to arrive at that?
I'm saying the 13 months it took ultimately forces you to adopt that opinion. What else are we to believe after waiting this long? After waiting this long for the NFL to make a decision, what else are we to believe, Skip, other than they clearly think he's guilty?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. I just think that, and you're right, you backed off the players' union because of the cops, but the players' union is complicit too.
No, I didn't back off of them. I just said they weren't the only ones culpable.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. All right. Appreciate the call, Skip. Thank you so much. Let's go to Tyreek real quick. You're live from New Jersey. What's going on? Tyreek, go ahead real quick.
Hello?
Yeah, Tyreek, you're live on the air. Go ahead. Tyreek, call back when you're ready. Bobby in New Jersey, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Bobby, go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Steve? Good to hear you. Anyway, I'm a Cowboy fan, diehard Cowboy fan since Danny White days. Now, I must say that you're right in everything you said. This may be good for Zeke. You know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, he's rolling down a hill. He might get into more issues than this. This might be good for him. Now, are we in danger? I don't think so. I mean, Alfred Morris is an explosive running back. I mean, he's maybe not like
he was a couple of years ago. We don't know what he is now. They were talking about
trading
trading him.
With the Redskins, they gave us a hard time.
I said we don't know that because we ain't seen him in a couple of years. That's my point.
Nah, well, I think he ain't losing. I think we're in pretty good shape. I mean, just to hold us off.
A Cowboy fan would say that. You think y'all in good shape when y'all go 1-15? What difference does that make?
Coming from your mouth, anything's possible, man.
That's right.
Just to shut you up.
There you go. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. I'm going to have a ball with y'all this year. I'm gonna have a ball with y'all this year.
I know you are. You'll be the first one I think about.
But I gotta tell you though, Bobby. The thing that stinks to the high heavens about this is that I think that the NFL. It's one thing to protect your shield and your brand by saying the fact that you found yourself in this situation is all we need to know, and that's why we're suspending you. That's entirely different to me than what happened here. They dragged this on for more than a year. And as far as I'm concerned, has made a concerted effort to find him guilty in a court of public opinion of the exact allegation that the courts couldn't do. That's my issue with this, Skip. I mean, with this, Bobby. That's my issue.
Absolutely, man. Continue your hate towards us because we're going to the top soon.
That's right. Yeah, you ain't going to no top. Matter of fact, this is evidence of you going to the bottom. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Hour number 2, we will continue with the discussion about Ezekiel Elliott's suspension. The Dallas Cowboys star, second-year running back, has been suspended for 6 games. 6 games. By Commissioner Roger Goodell in the National Football League. Plus, there's been some trades that's going on in the NFL. Sammy Watkins is gone from Buffalo. Jordan Matthews is gone from the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. Lots of stuff to get into hour number 2. Can't wait to do it. You are listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio. Hour number 2 up next.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM Channel 80 and the ESPN app.
Check out ESPN Films' newly released 30 for 30 podcasts. From the producers of our award-winning documentary series, this is an amazing collection of sports stories you need to hear to believe. Speaking of amazing, Delta Airlines and the Fly Delta app make your travel experience amazingly easy with real-time bag tracking, e-boarding, and passport scanning during check-in. And don't forget to download 30 for 30 podcasts to fill your flight with stories that will keep you coming back for more.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. Hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Here with you until, or at least for the next hour or so over the airways of ESPN Radio. Number to call up as always is 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Sammy Watkins, wide receiver extraordinaire when healthy for the Buffalo Bills, has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. He is Jared Goff's new number 1 target. He has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams along with a 2018 sixth-round pick in exchange for cornerback E.J. Gaines and a 2018 second-rounder. And in a corresponding swap, the Bills also acquired Jordan Matthews from the Philadelphia Eagles, along with a 2018 third-rounder from the Eagles for starting left cornerback Ronald Darby. So the Bills shipped out Sammy Watkins, they shipped out Ronald Darby, and they acquired E.J. Gaines, a corner, and Jordan Matthews from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now you got to remember, Sammy Watkins is approaching free agency. Got to remember that. Can't ignore that. Coming off a down campaign. He's in the final year of his contract. He was in the final year of his contract, after the Bills failed to pick up his option. The Rams are expected to extend him or ultimately tag him, one or the other. He was a player they considered drafting in 2014. Now you got Jordan Matthews instead of Sammy Watkins. Jordan Matthews is gifted. Versatile pass catcher. I don't think he's a number 1 option, but he's really good. He's also in the final year of his rookie deal. As far as I'm concerned, came cheap because I think he's worth more than a third rounder. But that's me. We shall see what happens. Eagles. Now what do you have? Because who's your receivers? Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar. I mean, Aguilar is a speedster, but this is a guy that was benched during the season. So you got Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. I guess that works for Carson Wentz, but I'm not sure. And I'm certainly not sure about the Redskins either. By the way, on another note, yes, I did see Mitchell Trubisky last night. He did look pretty damn good. Now, Mike Glennon looked like a deer in headlights. Looked petrified. All right? And don't get me started with Mr. Butt Fumble himself, Mark Sanchez. I don't even want to think about it. But Mitchell Trubisky is no joke. At least he looked that way last night. Here's the one reason I would tell y'all to pump your brakes. He was playing against the third-string defense. And by the way, they didn't engage in anything but man coverage. So I'm not sold on Mr. Trubisky and whether or not it was right for the Chicago Bears to move up by giving up all those picks in order to get him. The number 3 pick plus the 4th round, the 6th round, all this other stuff. I don't know if Trubisky was worth all that. But he looked at last night against the third-string defense, playing man. No zone. Let's keep that in mind. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Back to the phones we go. Cue Ball, you're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up?
Stephen A., what's happening, man?
I'm good. Talk to me.
Hey, man, I want to comment on Zeke real quick, man. Like, when it first happened, when I first heard it, I was being biased because I'm a Cowboy fan. But then after hearing everything that you just read that said the NFL read, I'm kind of disappointed in our justice system. Like, how the bro get arrested? You feel me?
Yeah.
Pictures and everything. Like, he should have been arrested for that, man. I had to.
Hold on. Whoa. Back up.
My bad.
He should have been arrested for what?
He should have been arrested for hitting on that woman. Like, I had the experience seeing that growing up. So he should have been arrested. If they got pictures and everything, then he did it. If it's pictures,
that's what I'm saying. If they saying he got pictures, if they're saying he's got, hold on. If they're saying he's got pictures from the 17th and the 19th and the 21st, and it was in the police report, why was he not arrested? A. B, why did the prosecutors in Columbus, Ohio drop the case? And C, what the hell took the NFL long to hand down this penalty?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I mean.
That. All right.
Hey, real quick. Hey, my lady going to trip when I tell her I talk to you live on the phone because when you be on TV, I'll be grinding you up because you be killing my Cowboys. But she be like, you don't like him. I'll be like, nah, he get on my nerves. But when I tell her I talk to you live on the phone, she going to trip, though.
That's
but
right.
Nah, you real, you keep it real.
First of all, you be quiet right now because you said something just now that's very, very blasphemous, and I'm going to get on you for that. And you know what that is?
What's that?
You were arguing with your girl. What you doing?
Oh, no, we were arguing.
Okay, all right. Let's be clear. Listen. Listen to me. Listen to me. Good, boy. You listening to me?
I'm listening.
It's football season. Especially now. You want to do everything she says. Especially now, you want to do everything she says.
I know.
Because if you messed up, she going to mess up your Sunday.
I already know.
Don't let that happen.
The Cowboy squad, though. I'm cool.
Don't let me Don't let me take away your man card now. Get it right. Take it easy, bro.
Nah.
Appreciate the call. Let's go to Dan. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What's up, Dan?
Hey, what up, Stephen A?
Talk to me, man.
How you doing?
I'm good. Talk to me.
So I just want to say that with the whole Ezekiel Elliott thing, like, I think that, it's wrong and that you're totally right in what you're saying because, I mean, the NFL shouldn't have to put up with any of that. But at the same time, I think that if they have pictures and that the evidence is there that, something obviously happened.
Yeah, it does look that way. It looked like something obviously happened. That's not what I'm challenging, Dan. What I'm saying is what the hell took it so long? Because it shouldn't have been a year. It's almost, listen, if something happened, then deal with it. I got it. But to let it drag on this long, listen, we damn near almost forgot about it. And then when it was dangling out there, it doesn't seem like the NFL is saying, well, you know what, like with Big Ben, Your conduct was detrimental to the league. Yeah, we know it was an accusation, but you were never arrested or indicted or anything like that. But you still should know better. Here's this slap on the hand for 4 games. Don't let it happen again. In the case of Ezekiel Elliott, the NFL seems to be saying, just because the local authorities didn't take care of you, we ain't letting you off the hook. We think you did this.
Yeah.
That's not about sullying the shield. That's about them attaching guilt to Ezekiel Elliott, saying they think he did this. That's an entirely different thing that I'm not sure the NFL has a right to do.
And you know what? At first, when you said that, I was unsure if I could agree with you on that. But then I thought about it, because then if they really did care about selling the shield, they would have done that right away.
Right. Right. And then not only that, think about this for a second. Do you really want an institution, an organization, a conglomerate to be able to decide your guilt or innocence in a court of public opinion based on how they handle situations as opposed to the court of law? I don't want that.
No.
I don't want that, because I can't trust that they'll do that judiciously and objectively. I don't trust that at all. We trust the law for that.
Oh, definitely. But I have one more other question.
Go ahead.
So I want to ask you, because, man, I love Aaron Rodgers, and I want to know, what do you think is going to happen this season?
It's all about their defense. Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay's offense will be high-powered because they have that bad man that he is. The flip side is that defense at times was so awful last year, they looked like a damn Pop Warner defense. I don't trust them, and I'll see that they're productive. I'll believe that they're productive when I see it. And until then, I'm not giving them any kind of edge whatsoever. I'm just not sold on Green Bay's defense right now, and I think Aaron Rodgers has been left hanging and holding the bag for far too long, being asked to come to the rescue. And then I look at their schedule, man. They open against Seattle and Atlanta. And Cincinnati is no scrub during the regular season. They wait for the playoffs to stick up the joint. But during the regular season, they're pretty damn good. That's Green Bay's first 3 games of the year. At home against Seattle, on the road at the reigning defending NFC champions who shellacked them in the NFC championship game. And then, of course, you got Cincinnati. You get a break with Chicago on a Thursday night. And then after that, you're at Dallas and at Minnesota. I don't know, Dan. I don't know about that. Appreciate the call. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. When we return, eventually I will get to your calls, but not before I talk to my man. He's great at what he does. He's absolutely hilarious. You've seen him in A Haunted House 1 and 2, 50 Shades of Black, White Chicks, and so a Scary Movie, Think Like a Man, everything. I'm talking about the one and only Marlon Wayans. He's up next with yours truly, Stephen A., on ESPN Radio.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million, what color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Woo! Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
17 minutes past hour number 2 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. It is my honor and privilege to have my next... I'm sorry? Okay. We're waiting for the one and only Marlon Wayans. I thought he was there, but when he is there, they will let me know. Number to call up, as always, is 866-729-ESPN. That is 866-729-3776. I'll get to the phones real quick, but the second Marlon Wayans comes on the line, I will have to cut you short because I can't keep this man waiting. Let's go to Mike in Staten Island. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Mike? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call. You know I'm a big fan of Stephen A. Since quite frankly and all that, you know what I mean? But yeah, and I hate to come on here and be negative, but I am really tired of NFL. I'm tired of this Ezekiel Elliott, Ray Rice, Kangaroo Court, Colin Kaepernick, CTE. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of Stephen A. I really am.
But what exactly are you tired of?
Well, the Kangaroo Court, the way they treated Ray Rice, the way Colin Kaepernick is being treated. He's still away to 12 months, and he wasn't. Come on, these guys are part of the NFL. The NFL's supposed to have their back. and they're going after an employee rather than trying to help this guy. They're going to suspend him. And what is Ezekiel? He's a rookie. He's a baby. This is absolutely outrageous to me. That the same way they treated A-Rod when they did all. This reminds me of the A-Rod deal, because the way MLB went after A-Rod, they going after Ezekiel Elliott for the same thing, using all these underhand tactics to find this guy guilty. Seriously?
You know what? A lot of people feel the way that you do, man. I can't even knock you for it, Mike.
Hey,
Makes
listen,
sense.
come on, Colin, and then Colin Kaepernick. They're going to march in a couple of weeks at the NFL office. They're going to march. I already got flyers online.
Okay.
And no doubt. So, man,
I
love
got
you,
you,
brother, man.
I got you. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate your call. Thank you so much. It is always my honor and privilege to have our favorite caller into the show, the one and only Carlton in Massachusetts, on the line with us right now. What's going on, my man? How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
How's that move to Tampa coming?
It's in process. I'll be there by the second week of the season.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't a dumb move to go from Massachusetts to Florida. I can tell you that. ain't nobody gonna accuse you of being idiotic. I tell you that much. Go ahead, buddy.
As it pertains to Ezekiel Elliott, it appears that they are under the personal conduct policy using a different standard, obviously, than a DA is going to use to indict someone. A DA has to, be able to produce evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to convict somebody. It appears the NFL, under the personal conduct policy, is using a more probable than not standard, which is actually the standard spelled out in the integrity of the game. Part of the
I get that part, and to a lesser degree, you could say they use that strategy against Tom Brady and Deflategate. More probable than not.
Part of it, Stephen A. In the integrity of the game, it's spelled out that it is more probable than not. The personal conduct policy does not spell out the standard that they used. Although the ESPN article says that the NFL kicked out the statement saying there is substantial and persuasive evidence supporting the finding that he engaged in physical evidence.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this has been my position all along. With Big Ben Roethlisberger, I got the impression that it was sort of a slap on the hand. You got to watch yourself. Be careful for finding yourself in these positions because it stains the league. Whereas with Ezekiel Elliott, I get the impression that they're trying to say, regardless of what transpired with the legal system in Ohio, we believe you're guilty. And we want the world to know that. I took those two elements. I think it was a little bit different with Big Ben than it is with Ezekiel Elliott in this case. What about you?
Well, I'm looking at this phrase, substantial and persuasive evidence that he engaged in physical violence. They are basically convicting him with the statement according to them.
Okay.
One other thing, Stephen A. Your show today with the social justice warriors, Max and Molly, just dismissing you when it comes to Nessa, Kaepernick's girlfriend, comparing Steve Bisciotti to DiCaprio's character in Django. Yep. I mean, they are the first ones to get bent out of shape when there is even a hint of discrimination anywhere, and yet they are fine with Nessa equating Steve Bisciotti with a racist slave owner. They're perfectly fine with that. They just dismiss it. And here's the issue that all these owners are going to have with signing Kaepernick. If you hire him and he doesn't work out and you cut him, are Colin Kaepernick and his inner circle going to accuse the owners of being racist, which they just did with Steve Bisciotti? Nobody's going to touch the guy with a 10-foot pole, nor should they, as long as he and his inner circle keeps carrying on the way they're carrying on. As you said, Ray Lewis is out supporting him because of what he did. I mean, it's his own fault for crying out loud.
Ray Lewis, I spoke to Ray Lewis an hour after that tweet went out. He said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. He'd never been more insulted. Well, go ahead.
Exactly.
Well, go ahead. You wanted to say something real quick about the Bills trade. Go ahead.
Well, things could not be setting up any better to just hand the whole darn trophy right to the Patriots. We got Tannehill going down. We got McMillan going down on the Dolphins. Now we got the Bills self-destructing. Anunua, the Jets' only decent receiver, not that they are even going to win a game this year. He's out for the year. Everything's just lining up swimmingly for the Patriots.
Oh, poor baby. Carlton, I appreciate you, buddy, man. It's nice to have you back on. I know you've been busy, but it's always great to get your calls, buddy.
I'm going to hate him from Tampa just as much as I hated him in New England.
You will. You think I know? You think I don't know that? I know you will. Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate the call. Let's go to Paul in Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. on ESPN New York. ESPN Radio. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, Steve. How you doing? Big fan of the show. Thank you for taking the call.
Thank you. And I'm at ESPN Radio. I'm just traveling, but go ahead.
Just wanted to bring up the Giants, if that's all right with you. I know they picked up a good tight end in the draft, and Giants, they haven't had a tight end that's reliable in a while. What do you think about him? Do you think he's going to be long-term? Do you think it's going to be the missing puzzle piece? Because they haven't had a tight end, and all those Super Bowl runs, Eli's had somebody, and not even somebody for him to block, and now he's got somebody who could, disguise himself as a receiver because they say that's what he has. What do you think about
Well, who are you talking about exactly? I don't know who you're talking about.
Ingram.
Oh, Ingram. This kid Ingram that the Giants have?
Yeah.
I hear a lot of good things about him. Good things about him. He's an additional target, and with Shepard and Marshall and Odell Beckham Jr., that makes it even better. But what difference does it make if you can't protect the quarterback and you can't run the football?
And the offensive line, I know.
What difference does it make? But wait a minute. I will say this. Giants should still win the division. Ezekiel Elliott out for 6 games.
Championship. Call me crazy. They got a team, man. They got the defense.
They do have it. Listen to me. They do have the team. I get that. What I'm saying to you is that let's take care of the division first. You should be to win the division. Redskins are suspect. Okay. Deshaun Jackson's gone. Pierre Garçon is gone. Still got Jordan Reed there, Matt Jones, and Kirk Cousins and all of that stuff. But the Redskins just don't seem trustworthy. Philadelphia Eagles, I don't know what the hell they're doing right now, particularly when they just gave up Jordan Matthews. So now it's about Dallas, and Ezekiel Elliott's been suspended for 6 games.
You don't think LeGarrette Blount's a huge pickup, though? I thought the Giants were going to pick him up. I got excited.
We'll see.
I know it's not.
We'll see.
I know.
We'll see. Thanks a lot for the call, man. I appreciate it. 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Supposedly Marlon Wayans is ready for me. Let's hope that is the case. Either way, I'll be back with you in a minute, whether it's with him or to your phone calls. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
32 minutes. Past hour number 2 back here on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM Channel 80, of course, ESPN New York, ESPN LA. It is my honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line. It's been a little while since I've seen this man, an actor, a comedian, a screenwriter, a film producer. Damn it, I don't know how many jobs he has, how many titles he has. I just know he's a winner. And I know he's a great dude. Marlon Wayans, I have gotten that haterade out my system. Remember he sprinkled that water in my face years ago telling me to get that haterade out my system? I got it out my system, bro.
You got nothing but love for me, Stephen A. You know I love you, too. Indubitably, Stephen A. Smith, my boy.
How you doing, man? How's everything going, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good, brother. I'm trying to be somebody. Trying to make Marlon mean just as much as Wayne.
Oh, you really? Is that right? Your family, as far as I'm concerned, one of the first families of Hollywood, my brother. We'll get Marlon Wayans back on the line. The signal is really, really bad at this particular moment, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we'll hear from him in any second now because we couldn't hear him right now, as you can tell. 866-729-ESPN is always the number to call. It's 866-729-3776. By the way, we're having him on the show. He's got a new show, actually 2 shows. Netflix. It's called Naked. He's got a new show called Naked on Netflix that comes out today. And he's got a new show coming out next week on NBC entitled Marlon. Been around for a long time. Has done a lot of great things. His family, I mean, what do you say? Remember Keenan Ivory Wayans? Remember In Living Color? Remember Damon Wayans, his big brother? You know his brother Sean, who he's done a lot of work with. His sister Kim, who's absolutely wonderful. Just the whole family, all the things that they've done throughout their careers as actors, as comedians, as screenwriters and producers. I mean, the brothers, the sister, everybody. It's a family affair. They're one of the best ever. They really, really are. It's a special family, and I've had the pleasure of meeting most of them. I cannot tell you how great they are, not just as talented individuals in their chosen professions, but also as people. It doesn't get much better than them. And when you think about so many African Americans in Hollywood in terms of the kind of things that they're doing and that they've been doing, who doesn't have Keenan Ivory Wayans and Damon Wayans to thank for that? Considering the path that they have paved for so many people to ultimately be on the come up doing the kind of things that they've done. The Wayans family is just special. I got a lot of love for them, and anytime they're doing something, I always want to bring them on the line just to introduce the world to whatever product they're putting out there, because they're truly special people. So hopefully we can get Marlon Wayans back on the line any minute or so if his phone line is clear, because he was in a bad cell area or whatever. But if we don't do it now, then we'll do it next week when he can get on a landline so we can let you know what he's up to. I've got no problem with that. No problem whatsoever. Until we get him back on the line, however, let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Earl in New Jersey. I'm sorry, Marlon is there. Marlon, are you back?
I'm back.
There we go.
I had one of them flip phones. I had one of them throwaway phones, so I went and got a new one.
I got you. Well, first of all, let's get right to it. Today, debuting on Netflix, Naked. What is this about? What is this project about?
Naked is a romantic comedy with me and Regina Hall, and it's basically about a guy who's supposed to get married and has to relive the same hour over and over again until he gives this woman the proper wedding. And I think all men should watch this movie, and ladies, especially when those think about getting married, because, fellas, you got to get that day right, or else you'll have a lifetime of really bad sex. So make sure you get the wedding day right.
So let me get this. So this is with Regina Hall, right?
Yes, me and Regina Hall. I got Dennis Haysbert in the movie. Scott Foley. Just a bunch of really funny people, and best movie I did in a long time.
I got to tell you something right now. You bring up Regina Hall. First of all, I think she's gorgeous. Please tell her I said hello. Please, pretty please, with sugar on top.
You know what, Steven? I'm going to put some good word in there because I think the lady may be single.
No. I don't need that. I'm fine. Don't get me in trouble. I don't need that.
Good.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay, my bad.
And tell her, and tell her though. Tell her I saw the movie Girls Trip, and that was one of the funniest movies in years.
I definitely will. And Tiffany Haddish, that little lady.
Oh, yes.
Nobody even knew she was funny. I put her on my show, Funny and Friends, about 4 years ago.
Wow.
Letting the world know she was funny. And I'm glad she was able to go out there and lay that movie out. Really funny movie.
And what about this coming up on NBC where you've got this is debuting next week, Marlon? What's that about?
Yes, sir. It's a TV. I like the way you say Marlon.
Marlon.
Marlon. M-A-W-L-O-N. Marlon. But check it out. It's basically based on my life as a divorced, inappropriate father that's just trying to keep his family together in the midst of divorce. It's like a new age Cosby. It's a really funny show with me and Essence Atkins and another beautiful actress, and it's really funny, man. Comes on NBC at 9 and 9:30. 2 shows back to back after America's Got Talent comes out on Wednesday. I'm telling y'all that this is classic comedy, like I Love Lucy classic.
So let me get this straight. On one hand, with Naked, you got to have like a Groundhog's Day version of something where you're trying to you keep revisiting the hour where you're trying to get things right so you can get married the right way. And then on your new show on NBC, you're Marlon and there's something else going on. You're a married man and you're trying to get it right.
So I got divorced in the show. But I'm still trying to keep my family together. Because just because your family's broken up, it don't mean that your family's over. It just means that it's a new chapter in y'all love. So it's an aspirational show. But man, is it funny? You gotta see some of the episodes, Steve. You gonna love it.
I'm gonna check it out, man. I'm gonna check it out. We're talking to the great Marlon Wayans right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. You looking forward to football season, man?
Oh, come on.
Who's your team?
It depends.
Who's your team?
I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan all day.
Thank God.
I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Although I don't know, man. I'm kind of contemplating NFL right now. I'm not really happy with them because I don't really just to be honest, I'm not really happy with what's going on with Kaepernick.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I just think the brother personally is a decent enough quarterback that I think there's enough teams that I think he's good enough and should be out there playing. And I don't blame him for whatever mishaps he had in San Francisco. I blame Chip Kelly. Not a great coach. He's ruined 2 great teams. Nah, but I just feel like I would like to see Cap play.
Is it fair? Do you feel like the NFL just needs to let him back in? Because it's clear that he's being left out of the NFL. It doesn't have anything to do with his talent. It's clear that it's his protest and what stems from that. That's why they're keeping him out of the league right now.
What's going to happen is going to affect, they understand, the consumer. Brothers are a big consumer of NFL and NFL products. And what's going to happen is, brothers are going to start boycotting that because it's unfair. Because the things that's happening in our community, somebody had to do something. And the fact that we are all talking about it, I applaud Kaepernick for doing that, for us to have these conversations because it's real. We're talking about lives and saving lives and whatever this. The fact that we are having these conversations about it, I applaud Kaepernick for being man enough to do it. And I think, I look at what everybody did with Muhammad Ali when all those athletes came out and surrounded him and backed him up. I thought that was a beautiful show of black solidarity, and I would like to see some of that happen so that it's just justice. And I love the league, and I love the football, but I also love my people, and I also love justice, and I also love peace. And I think that there needs to be a conversation had, and that brother should be playing.
I tell you this much, man. I appreciate those comments coming from you even more so than most, because the one thing I know about you is you never wish ill will upon anybody. You trying to make people. You trying to make people laugh. You ain't trying to make people unhappy. So for you to speak out that way, I really, really appreciate where you're coming from, my man. You take it easy, okay?
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. And y'all tune in and watch the show.
I got him. Naked on Netflix debuts today and next week on NBC. Marlon. On one hand, naked, you trying to get married. And on the other hand, with Marlon, you trying to get over a divorce and keep the family together. I got that right?
That's how we do it. Hey, that's how we do it, Stephen. Hey, stop for the Floyd McGregor fight.
I see you there. I got Mayweather.
Oh,
all day.
Easy money.
All day.
All day.
All right. I'll see you there, babe. No doubt. The one and only Marlon Wayans right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Again, Netflix debuts today. Naked. Sort of a Groundhog's Day version. He trying to get it right. Within an hour time, you keep revisiting that hour, trying to get married the right way. As he would say, not his words, not my words, it's his words. He said so you can make sure you have good sex for the rest of your life. That's what he said. That's the motivation. Okay? Got to get married right so you don't compromise your sex life. That's what he's trying to say. Wasn't Stephen A. saying that. That was Marlon Wayans. And then on NBC, Marlon, he's divorced but trying to keep the family together. Both are comedies. It's Marlon Wayans with Stephen A. ESPN Radio. Your calls to close out the show in a minute.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Thanks again for Marlon Wayans for coming on the show. Naked debuts on Netflix today. Marlon, new TV show on NBC, debuts next week. Let's get back to the phones, 866-729-ESPN. That's 866-729-3776. Let's go to Earl in New Jersey. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Earl? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Steve? Thanks for taking my call.
I'm listening.
You know what's being missed in this Ezekiel thing? It'd be like if you worked for Fox Sports and did something, and a year later after coming to ESPN, something came out about Fox, but ESPN suspends you.
You know why I disagree with You know why I disagree with that? Because that's initially what my thinking was. But then I remembered all of this happened after he was drafted by the Cowboys. It wasn't like he was at Ohio State.
But it happened when he was at Ohio State.
No. Remember, July 17th, 19th, and the 21st of 2016. He was drafted in April or May of 2016. So he was already a member of the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Because I was thinking the same thing you were thinking.
Okay.
Because he hadn't played yet, but he was already drafted by the Cowboys.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that.
No problem, man. Take it easy. James in Brooklyn, you're live with Stephen A. What's up, James?
Hey, Stephen A. Good to hear from you, brother.
Thank you, man.
I have something to say that you probably won't agree with about
It's okay.
Kaepernick and the rest of the people, with the slave owner mentality, they thinking everybody's a slave owner. We got to understand this. All their life, they've been waiting to get to that plantation. And then when they get selected, they get on the plantation.
Stop. Stop. Who's been waiting to get to the plantation?
when you figure like this.
No. Stop, because you're confusing my listeners. Who, when you say all their life they've been waiting to get to the plantation, all I'm asking is, who are you talking about?
The athletes, the sports athletes,
okay,
who once they get into any sport, the black athletes who get into the sports and they get hired for their talent, and then they turn around and call the owners a slave owner, they running like the plantation. Dude, you the one who put yourself out there. You the one who said on draft day, will some slave owner, if they think like that, will some slave owner take me? Once they get in there, then they know how the system is. If they calling it slave owners, you applied yourself for that. You've been waiting all your life to get on that
my
plantation.
response to that would be, why does it have to be so derogatory? If you're getting paid millions of dollars, that's not slavery.
I know. I Stephen A., I feel the same way. But when these guys get on there and they say, okay, you're a slave owner. If you know someone is a slave owner or you thinking like that, then what's the problem? What slave owners do what slave owners do.
Or why join the league if you're going to feel that way? Because last time I checked, when you talk about slavery, that's involuntary servitude. When you're talking about the National Football League, you choose and elect to play in that league. Nobody's forced you to.
That's what I'm saying.
I got it.
Love your show, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I get where you're coming from. I mean, again, the word slavery is very incendiary considering the fact that we're talking about multi-millionaire athletes. But I do understand the mode of thinking that falls along those lines. Nuno, I don't see the names of any callers up here, even though I see that the lines are full. Who do we have on next? I cannot tell. 866-729-ESPN. It's 866-729-3776. Let's go to Kevin. You're live on the air, Kev. What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Steven? The reason why I was calling in was I respected your opinion as far as Ezekiel Elliott was concerned. You know, I feel like you're on point with a lot of different things. But the problem that I have is that I believe that if the NFL has done a comprehensive investigation, that they've connected the dots. You yourself said by the evidence, why wasn't this young man arrested?
Right.
I think that they researched. I'm sure they know why. We can't assume, but you have to figure that Ohio State is Columbus. If there's no Ohio State, there is no Columbus.
Wait a minute, Kevin. Let me piggyback off my point. What I'm saying to you is that it was in a police report. So my point is, what we're reading today, the likelihood is they saw this last summer.
Exactly.
So why wasn't he dealt with then? That's my problem.
And I totally agree. I don't even understand why he was playing his rookie season. It would have been a lot easier for my Packers. Maybe they wouldn't have been as tired when they got to the Falcons. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that they should have come out with this sooner. But I believe that it might have taken them a little while to connect the dots to figure out, why wasn't more of an action taken? And what I'm looking at is not what they said, but what they're not saying.
I got you, and I'm looking at how it said it, but let's talk over the weekend or after the weekend's over when we've got more time. Bryce in L.A., you're live with Stephen A. You're the last caller. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Stephen A., man, thank you for taking my call. I listen to the show every day. Clock watching right now.
I appreciate it. Go ahead, buddy.
About this. Ezekiel Elliott, so if he appeals, I want your personal opinion. How do you think it's going to play out?
I think that he'll get reduced maybe about 2 games. He's going to get a minimum of 4 games. Ain't no way that 6 getting reduced to lower than 4. I don't see that happening. I think the best case scenario for him is that he'll get 4 games instead of 6, but he looks bad. He looks bad when the NFL includes what was in that police report as a part of their decision in a letter to Ezekiel Elliott. It looks very, very bad. It's just that simple. There's no way around it. Again, nobody's trying to absolve Ezekiel Elliott. If he's guilty, he's got off easy as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, if he's guilty, he got off easy. But it seems to me like the NFL has taken the liberty of convicting this man in the court of public opinion. Because if it's just about conduct detrimental to the league or whatever, the stain the league's, the shield and what have you, we understand that. They seem to have gone a bit further with this decision. But we'll talk about that next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Stephen A. signing off. Talk to you Monday.